Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second season of Tell Me That. In this season, we will be asking my dad all questions that we have about life. These can be questions about career, personal development, or relationships, or whatever we can think of. So if you're interested in what my dad has to share this time, then stay tuned. Hello, Dad.
Hi, son. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, all right, all right.
Very good.
Alive and kicking.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. That's important.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I mean, not bad.
Perfect.
Life is treating me very well, I must say.
Good to hear. Good to
Yeah.
hear. You
Well,
sound happy. That's good.
Yeah, I am. I am.
Very good. Look, I have an interesting question for you today. I think it's a difficult one, so get ready.
Uh-oh.
I think I could ask this in a general way or specific to your life. So let me think about it. In general, do you think that life has a purpose? And what do you think is and was the purpose of your life?
Wow. Well, yeah. It's a difficult question because you can answer that question in a very pragmatic way.
Yeah.
Or from a theological point of view.
Yep.
Depends a little bit, because your religious position has quite an impact to that, because at the end of your life, what's going to happen next? Yeah, and this is a question that you have to answer first. Or what do you think is going to happen next? Is there life after life? Or is it just the end of your life? Well,
Question is, what do you think?
Well, what do I think? I think that the purpose of your life, the answer, it kind of varies a little bit, because if you live your life all by yourself, then you have probably a different purpose than living with your family or having a responsibility.
Yeah.
If you would have asked that question to me when I was 18 or 20 years old, I would have probably said, well, the purpose of my life is to make money, to buy a nice car, and to be happy. I still remember when I was about 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, I was thinking about that, and I asked myself the question: so what's in it in life? What is the purpose? Where can I get in life?
Yeah.
And that little guy in my head, he said, well, if you make 5,000 Deutschmarks a month for the rest of your life, and you get a mid-size car, like a gold type car,
Yeah.
and you can manage to pay for a flat or an apartment that you can call your own at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That would be the fulfillment of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, from today's point of view, that's absolutely bullshit,
Yeah.
But you see, when you are younger, you think different. Another thing or another factor that has a big impact on your answer is how is your financial situation? Do you have to think about, well, how am I going to survive? How am I going to make money to feed my family?
Yeah.
If that's important, then the purpose of your life is totally different than when you have 5 million in your bank account and you don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
So it's similar to things that you were not interested in when you were young, and today you are really uh, kind of interested in, but you don't really have that deep knowledge. And I'm talking right now about art.
Hmm.
When I was a young guy, I mean, art, this is, I mean, what these guys are putting on that piece of paper, they call that art, it's ridiculous, Today, just like yes, or right now we have an exhibition, a vernissage in Cologne. I can't recall the name of that lady right now. She's a Japanese artist, and everything she creates, whether you are talking about pictures or paintings or sculptures, it's all made with dots, little dots, all dots.
Hmm.
They had a complete room where they have the vernissage. The complete room is filled with millions of little dots.
Yeah.
And I mean, first I was thinking, what the hell does she want to say, And um, but on the other hand, just to look at that is so interesting, and it it really made me think. And then I followed that documentary, and um, uh, she is for more than 30 years, I think. She is in a special hospital. She lives in a special hospital for psychos.
Yeah.
She is not able to live in a normal environment. Yeah, and but she has built up in the last decades such a big name in the art business, And when you ask her the question, what's your the purpose of your life? What's in it for you? Her answer is probably totally different than the answer that I can give you. But what I want to
Yeah.
say is, um, just my interest in art today. Uh, I mean, today I am much more interested in pictures, sculptures. I mean, it shouldn't get too crazy, because this knowledge that you have to put a value on something is or on a piece of art. I just don't have that. But when I
Yeah.
look at a picture from I mean, two very different artists like Dali, Salvatore Dali, or Miro. Miro
Yeah.
has these dots and black circles, but still, when you take a look at the complete picture, um, you're always curious, what is that supposed to mean, and at the end of the day, you're going to see something in it, and Dali is an artist that like his picture with Don Quixote fighting against the windmills, it's just a black pen that he was using, and he made these figures, and the donkey that Don Quixote was riding on, he just made it just black on white and just in circles, a lot of
Yeah.
little circles. It looks crazy, but the painting as a whole, or what is it? What do they call it? Graphic,
Jeez, I don't know.
whatever,
Yeah.
But anyway, the piece of art as a whole, it's just
Yeah.
beautiful, just beautiful,
Yeah.
So, and these are now the little things that I enjoy very much in life, and this also changes my purpose in life. I mean, first it started with how to survive, how to survive, then start a family, build a house, and when this old saying here in Germany, a man has to build a house, he
Yeah.
has to get a son, and he has to plant a tree. So,
Yeah.
well, in my opinion, that cannot be all in life,
Well, you did two of those. I don't know. Did you plant a tree?
Oh, several,
You planted several.
several
Okay.
trees, several
Yeah.
trees. Yeah, definitely. When you take a look at our backyard,
Yeah. Yeah, you
uh,
planted a few.
there are still three trees that I
Yeah.
want to get rid of. And I probably need your help to do that. Anyway, but that cannot be the purpose of your life. And then, I mean, if you have done these three things, then you close the book. This cannot be it.
Yeah.
So, the purpose in life, I think, the purpose in life is to become a valuable part of the society that you are living in. It starts with your family. The knowledge that you have built up in your life, that you are willing to give that knowledge to your children, that
Yeah.
you um, share all your experience with your wife, with your family, and I think that is at the end of the day, and that you raise your children in a way that they value things like loyalty and honesty and so on. So if you can manage that, I think um, you have reached a very high level of the
Yeah.
purpose of your life. Um, n- now, well, um, now we get into the as the Americans say, into the nitty gritty. The
Yeah.
fine
Yeah.
tuning. Of course, when you have done all that, a happy family, happy environment, you have created something in your life. Um, then it's also time, well, it's always time also to think about yourself a little bit, especially when you get older. You start thinking of, well, how do you want to leave this world here? You're going to leave it as, I mean, screaming, crying, swearing, I mean, um, uh, I just thinking about that is, well, I'm not, well, I don't know what's going to happen with me when the day comes, but um, I think it's a fact that you cannot really change anyway. So
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So um, my philosophy is that you leave this world with your head up, with preferably with a smile in your face, and close your eyes and think about the beautiful life that you had.
Yeah.
I think that gives you that day a lot of strength. Even today, I tell you, even today, um, well, I'm not the kind of person that complains about the world that we have today, because each decade, each age has its problems and his great times and advantages and so on. Um, I I think even today to look back once in a while and appreciate what you had in your life. I mean, until I was 71 years old or 70 years old, I mean, the captain, the
Yeah.
boss, and I told everybody what to do, and well, in a very kind and nice way, of
Yeah.
course. But I was I always considered myself as a leader as someone that helps people to reach also their goals. That I am a creator. I like to create things, and I also want to make sure that everybody gets his share. So this is very important, and this is also part of the well, where you want to get in life, and you know, just a couple of days ago, I thought about a statement that you made. Um, well, about a month or 2 months ago, probably, and we talked about the 80s, the 70s, 90s. You know that
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
You know that I enjoyed living at that time very much.
Yeah.
And you said, well, just listening to you, it's actually a shame that I cannot experience life in the 80s, for instance,
Yeah.
you know, because no mobile phones, no laptops, nothing, just people, you know.
Yeah.
It must be
Yeah.
beautiful. And yes, it was beautiful. It was beautiful because um, as a human being, I think you had, or as a person, you had more value to the society than today. You know, everything today is replaceable. Also, people. When I was living in the United States, and I talked to some real big shots there that were managing big companies, and and I said, well, I noticed that in your factory you have so many people that have only a specific work to do.
Yeah.
You know, just I mean, one guy is just assembling this little gearbox day after day, and he knows it in and out. And uh, what happens if he leaves the company, or if he dies, or if he gets sick?
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, Willie, he is replaceable. What
Yeah.
he is doing, it's all written down in a specific or in a spreadsheet, and it takes about a month to train a new person, a new mechanic, to do that specific job. I will
Yeah.
never have the risk that I have a guy that for 30 years he's doing assembly on this big machine, and he's the only one that can adjust this main drive and also the this and that and what have you,
Yeah.
because this can kill companies. And
Yeah.
um, uh, important for me is that we set up the company that people are replaceable, and that is kind of um, different to the philosophy that we had in these old days in Germany and even in some companies today. When I started my first companies in the late 90s, and also the companies I managed before, um, I always put a high value on people that knew a machine tool in and out from bottom to top. They knew how to adjust this and that and what have you. They knew things that were not specified on drawings that only they had in their head, you know. And but it was kind of a dangerous game, you know, because
Yeah.
to lose someone like that due to illness or they just leave or die, or this had always a big impact. And it took months, sometimes years, to train people to really get up to that level.
Yeah.
So at that time, the purpose of my life was, of course, to bring the company in a situation where this cannot happen. You know, the company should be stable, should be safe. You know,
Yeah.
this can also be a purpose because um, when you know how to do that, automatically you get these additional advantages like people have good jobs, they are safe, they can feed their family, and so on, you know. And so let's get back to the purpose of your life. Today, of course, um, as I said before, the purpose of my life is totally different than it was when I was a young guy. You know? I mean, you
Yeah.
have totally different view of purpose in life than I have. In your life, there will be much more dynamic than in
Yeah.
my life is. That doesn't mean that my life is not really dynamic anymore, but the speed is not as high
Yeah.
as it is in your life. And um, um, also the things that I enjoy today, which also are a little bit part of purpose of your life, you know. I mean, one purpose of my, there is not only one purpose of your life, you know. You cannot phrase it in one sentence. It's just impossible. But one purpose is that I only eat good food, you
Yeah.
know. I love good food, you know. I was with your mom the day before yesterday in a restaurant that used to be a very good restaurant, and she had a Wiener Schnitzel,
Yeah.
and I had a sirloin steak.
Beautiful.
Well, I thought so, but
Ah, okay.
her her schnitzel was, well. No, I must say she was pretty spoiled because a couple of weeks ago we were in
You
Vienna
were in
and
Vienna.
we
Sure,
had
you got
the
the original. Yeah.
original Wiener Schnitzel. It looked like with a golden skin, you know,
Yeah,
with
of
this
course.
golden
Yeah.
breading and a beautiful, you know. And here the color was almost like brown grayish, you know. I mean,
Okay.
from the visual appearance, it was not really very very nice, you know. And my steak, but it was my own fault. You know? I mean, the steak was just um, from the visual impression that I got. It was beautiful. Yeah,
Okay.
it was like about 1 inch thick, and and it was like a 300 gram steak, you know.
Yeah.
But after the first cut and the first bite, I mean, you see, this was more than rare. This. I
Jesus.
mean,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
just bypassed the
Yeah.
flames. You know, there was, and then I made again a very big mistake.
Yeah.
I ate. I mean, first the I worked my way through the side pieces, you know,
Yeah.
and then, well, at the end, half of the steak was sitting on that take on that plate, and it was just a bloody piece of meat, you know.
Yeah.
I should have immediately. I should have called the waiter and I should have said, "Listen, this is not the way I ordered that." When you
Yeah.
asked me how would you like to have your steak done, I said specifically,
Yeah.
please medium, medium.
Yeah.
Tell your chef medium. So, but you see, I I was kind of angry to myself because. um I mean, I don't like to get bad food. You know,
Yeah.
I love good food. It may also be a little bit more expensive, you know, above average. But if it is good, it's good. You know.
Yeah.
So, and I also like to have a nice glass of wine once in a while. It doesn't need to be that $5 bottle of wine, even though you can also buy a good bottle of wine for $5, but not here. You have to go to France, you know. But here you have to spend, let's say, 10 euros, about 10 euros and up, you know, to get really a
Yeah.
nice bottle of wine. You see, these are the things that I value very much. Um, Good food, good discussions with people. You know, this is also something that one of the purpose of my life is the time that I have. I don't like to waste listening to
Yeah.
bullshit. You know, I like to talk to people that they also can educate me. I don't mind. But if it is an interesting discussion, if it is a nice discussion on a friendly level, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So and so on and so on. The same with cars and this and that or what have you. And what I watch on television, it's what I prefer to watch on television today. It's totally different than what I used to watch when I was 20, 25 years old. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the purpose of I take it now personally because I don't think that you can really have a general answer to that.
Yeah.
And personally, I must say, I cannot give you that one purpose.
Yeah.
It always depends on uh, it depends on the subject that we are talking about. When we are talking about family, it's a different purpose that I have than when we talk about I don't know what vacations and
Yeah.
you see the purpose in life in generally speaking to find a common something would be that you and your environment or the people that you are with that they are all kind of happy.
Yeah.
Yeah? I, the purpose in life is um, to avoid to make people unhappy. This is something that I mean in younger days you didn't even think about that, but this is very important and sometimes I'm very surprised how little people think about this subject. That what they say sometimes, what I mean, the answers that you get sometimes, it's just, I mean, you could throw up. It's just
Yeah.
they don't care about how you feel and so on. But anyway, so um, purpose in life is um, to have peace with the people that you are living with, to help people. This is something that I really like to do, to help people.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, when you stick to these little rules, at the end of the day, to walk head up out of this life and look back and say, well, that was cool, that was cool, that was great, and if you can manage that, I think you have reached or you have found the answer to your question.
Yeah. Very good.
Well,
So I
yeah,
guess that means you can say that. You can look back at your life and think that was cool.
I can say that. I think I can say that because it was
Very good.
cool. It was not
Yeah.
something that I have to create. When I think about my life and during that podcast, I have told you a couple of stories, that were
Yeah.
very exciting, and personal stuff or business wise, it's my life was great, was exciting, was great. I had the privilege to do whatever I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and that doesn't necessarily mean that it was always about the financial background. It was
Yeah.
always about my attitude and the environment that I was living in. So the obstacles that I had in my way were not too big. I could
Yeah.
then kick to the side. I could kick them to the side and just move on. And again, the privilege that I had to travel the whole world and to meet different people, different languages, to learn different languages, and also meet different cultures. This is such a great privilege. I mean, I think people that I know that are just living in this little town here. They have never seen anything else.
Yeah.
Well, I must say, they don't know what they are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what they are missing, but I know what they are missing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's just terrible. The world is great. Enjoy the world as long as you are healthy. Still, don't forget to earn some money once in a while. To do something, to work, and make the
Yeah.
right decisions, and then it will be one of these days. It will be done, but then I don't want to leave like a beaten up dog.
Yeah.
I want to leave like head up and look back and say, hey, that was a great life, and I hope and I wish that my family is going to see it the same way.
Yeah.
This is very, just to think about that gives me a lot of energy. A lot of energy for the time that I have. I mean, I'm over 70 years old. You are barely 23.
Yeah.
My lifetime, or the rest of my life, is definitely shorter. Hopefully, shorter than
Yeah.
than than yours. But that also makes this time very valuable. And
Yeah.
I tell you one thing: I'm gonna do everything possible to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, I
way,
know.
this is very very important. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say
That was super
this was
fascinating.
this. Well, this is probably the best answer that I could give you. So the one and only answer to your question, it is difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, you have to have a vision. You have to have also an ethical understanding of
Yeah.
yourself and how you treat people. And you have to be strong. You have to be bold. You have to have guts. And if you follow that guideline, I think you're going to manage your life. I don't have any doubt about it.
Yeah. Definitely. That was good.
All right. Well, I'm always looking forward to get these questions from you.
Yeah.
Probably to do a lot of thinking. Your mom is always asking me when I go downstairs now. She's gonna waiting already for me, and she's gonna. What was the question today?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
And then she's probably gonna say, "Oh boy, that is kind of difficult."
Yeah.
Anyway, so I enjoyed that very much, and I hope that our listeners also enjoyed it. But they have to keep in mind that my answers are always based on my life, my personality, my experience, and it is not what I'm telling people is not really the solution for all the problems they have in this world. So.
I think people know.
Alrighty. Okay, son, I would say
Yeah.
uh, take care of yourself,
Yeah.
and make the right decisions. And
I'll try my best. Yeah.
I think next Sunday we're gonna give it another try, right?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. All right, son. See you next Sunday,
See you
and
next Sunday.
hello to all the people that are listening to us. Bye bye.
Perfect. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you everyone for listening to this episode. If you're interested in what my dad has to share next time, then make sure to tune in again next week. And if you have any questions that you want my dad to answer, then please feel free to send them to us. Hope to see you next week. Bye bye.